Everyone tells you to drink more water. Your doctor says it, health magazines repeat it, pharmacies sell hydration supplements with bright labels, and staying hydrated absolutely matters, and I am not here to argue against that. But if you are over 60 and you are dealing with fatigue that no amount of sleep fixes, legs that feel like lead by early afternoon, nighttime cramps that jolt you awake, and a persistent dryness that never fully goes away no matter how many glasses you drink, then plain water alone is not solving your problem. Here's what is almost never explained. After 60, the issue is not always how much water you drink. The deeper issue is whether your cells can actually receive it. Water without the right internal environment cannot cross efficiently into your cells. It passes through your body, it ends up in your bladder, and you remain thirsty at a cellular level. Even when you are drinking 8 glasses a day and doing everything right by every standard recommendation, you feel this every single day. That wall of exhaustion that appears around 3 in the afternoon, the cramp that seizes your calf in the middle of the night, the dizziness that hits when you stand up too quickly, the dry mouth that returns an hour after drinking. These sensations are not simply the price of getting older, they are specific signals. Signals that something precise is missing. Cellular and vascular hydration research now consistently points to one overlooked factor as the primary driver of this problem in adults over 60. It is not a medication. It is not expensive. Most people have never had it explained to them this way, and most physicians never bring it up, not because they are indifferent, but because nutritional cellular physiology rarely makes it into a standard 15-minute appointment. Not knowing about this factor is costing you energy, physical comfort, mental clarity, and when left unaddressed for years, it accelerates the very decline you are trying to avoid. In 2021, researchers at the University of Granada in Spain conducted a rigorous controlled trial with adults aged 62 to 79 who had documented electrolyte insufficiency and chronic fatigue as a confirmed diagnosis. The study ran for 12 weeks. Participants received a targeted nutritional intervention centered on the substance I am about to reveal. Nothing else was changed in their diet or medication protocols. The results were striking. Researchers recorded a 41% improvement in cellular hydration markers. That is the precise clinical measure of how efficiently fluids move in and out of your cells at the microscopic level. They also documented a 37% reduction in the frequency of reported muscle cramping events over the same period. These are not modest numbers. These are changes people feel, changes that affect whether you sleep through the night or not, whether you can walk to the end of your street or not, and they come from a substance that costs just a few cents per day. Now, the number one element on this list is not what you would predict. If I asked you to guess right now, most of you would say sodium. A fair number would say potassium. Both are intelligent guesses, and both play a real role in what I'm about to explain. But the primary driver of cellular hydration failure after 60 is something different from either of those. Here is your clue. Your body produced it naturally and abundantly when you were in your 30s and early 40s. Between your mid-40s and your mid-70s, its activity inside your cells declines by more than 55%. It is never tested on a standard blood panel. Almost no physician brings it up, and the research on it, which is now substantial, has been largely ignored in mainstream clinical practice. We will get there. But before we do, I want to hear from you directly. How old are you right now? And what is the single symptom that most disrupts your daily life? Leave it below. I personally read every comment. It is one of the most meaningful parts of my week. Element 5 is magnesium glycinate. Most people hear magnesium and immediately think about sleep quality or stress relief. Those associations are real and valid. But what almost nobody over 60 has been clearly told is that magnesium is the biological gatekeeper of cellular hydration. Without adequate magnesium, your cells cannot properly regulate what enters and what is expelled. The hydration system simply does not function as designed. Think of each of your cells as a sealed room with a precisely engineered door. That door, the sodium-potassium ATPase pump, if you want the technical name, requires magnesium to operate. Magnesium is the power source for that door. Without it, the door jams half open. Fluids pool in the spaces between your cells instead of crossing into them. You drink water and it circulates without ever fully arriving where it needs to go. You remain depleted at the cellular level while your kidneys process the excess. A 2019 analysis published in the journal Nutrients reviewed data from over 8,500 adults across multiple countries. Adults with insufficient magnesium levels showed a 34% higher rate of cellular dehydration markers compared to adults with adequate levels. 34%. That is not a minor variation. That is the mechanism behind the afternoon energy crash you likely recognize. For adults over 60, the essential distinction is form. Magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate are the forms that cross efficiently into your cells. Magnesium oxide, the form found in most budget supplements, is poorly absorbed and passes largely through your digestive tract without reaching your cells. Take 200 mg of magnesium glycinate with breakfast and 200 mg with dinner. The split dose maintains stable tissue levels throughout the entire day rather than creating a single peak and then a drop. The synergy pairing here is vitamin B6 in its active form, pyridoxal 5-phosphate. B6 significantly increases the proportion of magnesium that enters your cells rather than being filtered out by your kidneys. Without B6 present, you absorb only a fraction of what you take. Together, they function like a key and the lock it was designed for. Element 4 goes deeper into the mechanism. Element 4 is potassium. Most people connect potassium with two things, bananas and preventing leg cramps. Neither association is wrong. But potassium's fundamental role in cellular hydration after 60 is more specific, more critical, and far less understood than either of those common references suggests. Potassium is the primary mineral that draws water into your cells and anchors it there. If magnesium is the door mechanism, potassium is the force that actually pulls water across the threshold and holds it inside. Imagine a sponge that has gradually lost its capacity to absorb. You can pour water directly onto it and the water runs off. That is exactly what a chronically potassium deficient cell looks like. The water is present. The infrastructure to receive it is not. A clinical trial conducted at Johns Hopkins University followed adults over 65 for 24 weeks, monitoring both cardiovascular and muscular hydration outcomes. Participants who corrected their potassium intake to research-supported levels showed a 29% improvement in blood pressure stability and a 33% reduction in muscle cramping frequency. Both outcomes trace directly back to how efficiently water was entering and staying inside cells. Here's the practical problem that almost no one addresses honestly. The average adult over 60 in the United States takes in only about 60% of the potassium they need daily, and supplements alone cannot close that gap. Federal regulations limit over-the-counter potassium supplements to 99 millimeters per tablet, which is far below the 2,500 to 3,000 milliliters daily target for adults in this age group. The optimal strategy combines food sources, avocado, white beans, baked sweet potato, plain yogurt, with a low-dose supplement taken alongside a full glass of water at your largest meal of the day. The synergy pairing is sodium, but in the right ratio. Sodium and potassium operate together like a hydraulic system inside your cells. Excess sodium without adequate potassium pushes water out. The right balance pulls it in and maintains it. The ratio matters more than either mineral in isolation. Number 3 is where this protocol becomes genuinely surprising. Number 3 is a mineral whose connection to cellular hydration is so direct and so thoroughly documented in the nephrology and membrane biology literature that I am genuinely surprised it is not the first thing every internist explains to their patients over 70. It is silica, specifically bioavailable orthosilicic acid. It acts through a mechanism that is almost unique in the world of nutritional science for hydration. Silica does not hydrate you directly. Instead, it structurally reinforces the cell membranes through which water must pass to enter your cells. Think of those membranes as the walls of a water balloon. When silica is abundant, those walls are supple, responsive, and selectively permeable. They allow water and nutrients through while keeping waste products out. When silica is insufficient, as it commonly is after 60 because both dietary intake and intestinal absorption efficiency decline together with age, those walls stiffen. They become rigid and poorly selective. Water knocks at the membrane. The cell does not fully respond. Research published in Biological Trace Element Research demonstrated that adults with higher bioavailable silica intake showed a 31% improvement in membrane permeability markers over 16 weeks of targeted supplementation. That 31% reflects a measurable increase in how efficiently water actually crosses into your tissues, not just how much you drink. The form matters enormously here. Standard silicon dioxide, found in most mass-market supplements, has near zero bioavailability in adults over 60. The absorbable form is orthosilicic acid, sometimes labeled OSA or stabilized silicic acid. Begin at 10 mg per day for the first 2 weeks. Increase to 20 mg daily in weeks 3 and 4. By week 5, settle into a maintenance dose of 20 to 30 mg daily. There are no significant side effects at these doses for most adults. If you are on any medication that affects kidney filtration, consult your physician first. The synergy pairing is collagen. Silica is an essential cofactor in the assembly of collagen fibers within blood vessel walls and cell membranes. More silica means stronger, more permeable architecture throughout the tissue system that delivers water to your cells. Together, they rebuild the structure from the inside out. All references and dosage details are in the description below this video. If this video is giving you a clearer understanding of what is actually happening inside your body, the kind of clarity that medical appointments rarely provide, that is exactly the reason this channel exists. Subscribing is free. It takes 1 second, and it allows this content to reach the people who need it most. Thank you sincerely for being here. Element 2 is unrefined mineral salt. Number 2 is something that an enormous number of seniors are already using every day, but the form most people rely on and the way most people think about it makes it significantly less effective for cellular hydration than what the research now identifies as optimal. In fact, for many people over 60, the conventional advice around this substance has been actively working against them. Most seniors have been told to reduce sodium intake, and for specific blood pressure scenarios, that clinical guidance is often appropriate. But here is the distinction that is almost never explained. Your cells require a minimum threshold of sodium to activate the membrane pumps that move water across their walls. Below that threshold, those pumps slow down. Cellular fluid exchange becomes inefficient. You drink water and it pools in the wrong spaces, between cells, not inside them. Swelling, fatigue, and cramping follow. Too little sodium causes nearly identical cellular hydration failure as too much sodium. Yet this nuance almost never reaches patients. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that adults over 65 consuming less than 1,500 milligrams of sodium daily, a common physician recommendation, had a 26% higher incidence of intracellular dehydration markers compared to adults consuming 2,000 to 2,300 milligrams from quality mineral sources. The number is not permission to add salt freely. It is a floor that your cells need to function. The form that makes the difference is unrefined mineral salt, pink Himalayan salt or Celtic gray sea salt, both of which retain trace magnesium, potassium, and calcium alongside sodium. A quarter teaspoon dissolved in 500 milliliters of room temperature water, taken first thing every morning before coffee or food, activates your cellular hydration system before anything else enters your body that day. Patricia, 73, from Asheville, North Carolina, had lived with severe morning fatigue and near nightly leg cramps for 4 years. Her sodium levels tested within standard range. After 6 weeks of the morning mineral salt protocol alone, nothing else changed. Her cramping dropped by approximately 80%, and her morning energy returned enough to resume daily 30-minute walks. The details she shared that stayed with me: it was the first autumn in 5 years where she raked her entire yard without needing to sit down. This element, the one your body produced naturally and abundantly when you were young, the one whose activity inside your cells declines by more than 55% between your 40s and your mid-70s, the one that has never appeared on any standard blood panel your doctor ordered, you have been waiting for it since the beginning of this video. Here it is, taurine. Technically classified as a conditionally essential amino acid because your body synthesizes it on its own, just as your skin synthesizes vitamin D from sunlight. When you are young, that synthesis is robust and continuous. After 60, it drops sharply and dramatically, and dietary intake in most adults over 60 falls far short of compensating for that loss. Most people associate the word taurine with energy drinks marketed to young athletes. That association has caused serious medicine to overlook what is now one of the most compelling nutritional stories in cellular physiology for aging adults. Here is what taurine does inside your cells. It is the primary regulator of osmotic balance, meaning it directly controls how much water your cells absorb and maintain. Think of taurine as the thermostat of cellular hydration. When taurine levels are healthy, your cells draw in the right amount of water, hold it at the right internal pressure, and release metabolic waste efficiently. When taurine declines, as it does markedly after 60, the thermostat breaks. Cells underhydrate. They shrink. They produce the cramping, fatigue, and dryness you recognized at the beginning of this video. Taurine also directly activates the sodium-potassium ATPase pump discussed in the magnesium section, making it the compound that ties this entire protocol together. Those 41% and 37% improvements I cited from the University of Granada study at the start of this video, that was a taurine intervention. That is the number this entire script has been building toward. The optimal form is pure L-taurine in capsule or powder, 1 gram with your morning meal, 1 gram with your evening meal. If you take digoxin or any antiarrhythmic medication, speak with your physician first. Taurine influences cardiac electrical signaling. The final synergy pairing is magnesium glycinate. Taurine provides the osmotic signal. Magnesium provides the enzymatic power. Together, they restore cellular hydration efficiency that most people over 60 have not experienced in years. Your fatigue is not your identity. Your cramping is not your future. Your blood pressure instability, your relentless thirst, your afternoon collapse, these are not the price of reaching your age. They are symptoms. Symptoms have biological causes. Biological causes have nutritional solutions. The research is consistent and it is clear. Magnesium glycinate opens the cellular door that aging has been slowly jamming shut. Potassium provides the drawing force that pulls water through that door and holds it inside your cells. Silica reinforces the membrane walls that water must cross, giving them the flexibility and permeability that decades of insufficient intake have eroded. Unrefined mineral salt provides the sodium threshold your cells need to activate their own internal pumps every single morning. And taurine, the element your body quietly stopped producing enough of somewhere in your 50s, restores the osmotic intelligence that governs everything else. When these 5 elements work together, they do not each contribute a small fraction of improvement. They compound. The research supports this. The timeline for meaningful change when this protocol is followed correctly is measured in weeks, not months, not years, weeks. And the total daily cost of this complete protocol, purchased in standard supplement form, is under $2 a day. If someone in your life is living with the same symptoms, a spouse, a sibling, a close friend, please share this video with them today. Not as a forward, not as a suggestion, as an act of genuine care. One share costs you nothing and could redirect years of their daily experience. All study citations and precise dosage protocols are written out in full in the description below this video. Print them, bring them to your next appointment. Ask your physician directly to measure your taurine status. Most will never have been asked that question before. Ask it anyway, and leave me a comment right now. Which of these 5 substances surprised you most? And are you already taking any of them? Your cells are not finished. Give them what they have been asking for, and they will answer.